All right, guys, we are back with another cast for NGS. We have tonight Luxorian Sun versus Salted Snacks. Lux is, well, right now, they are taking a look at the record. They are currently near the bottom. They're in 10th place, 0 wins, 2 draws, and 1 loss. So they're actually not doing poorly. It's just that those draws really hurt since the draws only net you 1 point apiece versus the domination, which gets you, a massive 3 points in comparison. Salted Snacks, on the other hand, have taken 2 clear wins, 1 draw, and 1 loss. We actually saw Salted Snacks facing off against 2+2, who is right now actually in a three-way tie between 2+2, Amazing, and Salted Snacks. So hopefully Lux will be able to take their first clean win for this NGS series. So for the bans, let's actually get down to what's happening here. We got Medivh and Amaev being banned out. Both very strong bans. I'm impressed that Phoenix was not banned out, but Medivh on this map is very strong. This was the pick for, I believe it was Salted Snacks, or sorry, Lux. Yeah, Lux. No, yeah, Salted Snacks won the toss. There we go. Or Bay Street, or and Bay State won the toss. So Lux could have gotten that. So sorry about the confusion there. So Medivh is definitely powerful, and he can grant vision. He can grant the ability to jump across to basically any of the turn-ins, be able to disengage, and it's much shorter the lanes too, so he can get in and out in terms of being able to get his team to safety. Now, on the other hand, Medivh does allow the fact that there is the Phoenix still available, but we saw Stukov and Hanzo picked up. Stukov's super powerful. Hanzo in general is really powerful. He can also pick up the armor shredding to help counter the Garage, who is himself a very powerful first pick. You see a lot of teams actually ban him out as well because they just don't want to play around his ability to sustain very well due to his increasing armor, his ability to throw people into the middle of his team in the easy wombo combos he sets up. Oh, it's actually 3 draws now. So that's a lot of draws on the side of Luxorian Sun. That's actually kind of crazy, to be honest. But that actually means that Lux is a strong team. They don't give up matches that easily, and so their opponents are not able to take clean series off of them either. So it's pretty even the games that they have, which means that they just need to do probably a little bit more work, clean up some play to get themselves to catapult, a domination, and which will then get them up there in the rankings. So Malfurion is super powerful with the Garage. We still have the ability to root on the throw. We got the Blaze for the solo lane. So Tomb of the Spider Queen, I'd love to see Leo picked up side of Lux. Lux will get a lot of benefit out of him. For one, Leo can dual wave clear eventually if needed, and he also generally seems to win the lane against Blaze. Now, you can almost say Leo's a worse pick in terms of, yeah, Blaze will lose the lane, but usually you'll get a lot more value out of the Blaze with Bunker. Leo is kind of a more late game hero, especially if you take Entomb. Level 20 Entomb basically wins your games for you. So a level 20 Entomb is a game changer. But like up until that point, Blaze's Bunker usually is more valuable. However, most of the time I see Blaze's losing in lane against Leo's. But for one, like he has to stand in place to actually self-heal, and if he's using his self-healing, not actually on the wave, he basically loses his ability to clear simultaneously. So it's a very clear trade-off on how Blaze plays. He has to basically drop his combo to nuke the minion wave from afar and not get drain hoped. So Malthael has been banned out, Junkrat has been banned out, and Junkrat is obviously to keep the displacement phase from going through, where you get the throw, you get knockbacks, you get the root. And the Malthael ban is, well, to keep someone from fighting against Blaze in the solo lane. And I still think they can easily pick up a Leo, but they've opted for a really crazy combo here. They got Genji, Hanzo, and Phoenix. So Phoenix, a lot of people will point out, Phoenix can actually solo lane. He has good wave clear, and so I think they're going to be thrown for a bit of a loop here on the side of Salted Snacks, not expecting this Phoenix to come through. For one, like, I would have expected Phoenix 100% since he was not banned out, but probably not expecting him to be in the solo lane simultaneously, because Phoenix just has to eat Blaze a stun and then he just ports away, or he ports away before he gets stunned because there's a wind up time for jet propulsion. And with Genji available, he can easily come down to help gank Blaze if Blaze ever wastes his jet propulsion. So the final pickups are Chromie and Greymane. I've been highly critical of Greymane picks in the recent times for games, and I gotta say, the Greymane in this comp is perfect. Now this is what most teams should be looking towards, which is, when do I pick up a Greymane? Like, I shouldn't just spam a Greymane, in my opinion. Or a team shouldn't just spam Greymane. For one, a lot of times people are playing double warrior comps, and double warrior comps just obliterate Greymane with all the CC they will drop on a Greymane if he engages. Additionally, you then they have no real hard CC. Stukov CC, Hanzo with his arrow. So you get the silence, you get the arrow, and you get Johanna Condemned / Blessed Shield. It's, on the whole, it's much more minor. All right, so while that's loading in, hopefully my cam will actually work appropriately this time. So we'll see a draft that's Johanna, Stukov, Hanzo, Phoenix, and Genji. I really like what Lux has right now. They have Johanna for the wave clear, Hanzo to help clean up, and Stukov with his Larking Arm to help clean up the waves. On the other side, the Chromie is going to help delay the turn-ins a lot, but at the same time, I don't know. They're going to really have to play off of the throws from Garrosh into Malfurion roots, but Greymane will be, I think, getting a lot of value this game. All right, guys. So we are finally heading into the match. We got Lux Swoop. So I'm going to skip all the Luxes since we got Swoop on that Hanzo. We got Bay State on the Johanna. We got Haze on the Stukov. Electra on the Phoenix. Patches on the Genji. And we got some great Skinergy and Mount Skinergy happening here. So look for Lux to win this just based off the advantage that gives. On the other side for Salted Snacks, we have Infrared on the Greymane. We got Chips on the Blaze. We got Rossi on the Malfurion. Blaze TDB not on the Blaze, on the Garrosh, and Energy. Dropping the bombs. Give him your energy as Chromie. So we got our mid-fight. The footsie battle has broken out. So Johanna will clear these waves pretty easily. There's a nice combo from Blaze. They're getting onto the Stukov, but there's not enough follow-up to really take him out at this point. Infrared didn't commit there, which I think is fine. Garrosh just harassing him, and he's also building up his stacks probably. Yeah, he took Warbreaker. So we're actually going to see deep breathing here. It's interesting because you don't see this nearly as often, the deep breathing. Adrenaline Stimpak, we got the Warbreaker. We have Nature Swiftness, Viciousness coming out. We got the Laws of Hope, Growing Infestation, Redemption, Advanced Targeting, and finally Swift as Wind. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the armor shredding for Hanzo just to really screw up Barash's innate armor that he gains when he loses HP. In the bot lane, we got Phoenix winning this lane right now. Chips going on in, not going to actually connect. That's okay. It doesn't really take any damage at this point. 4 of 120. That takes nearly forever. And that's one of the downsides by choosing this. There's another throw, but Swoop will just be able to jump on over. So Hanzo is a really bad target for Rush to actually grab, because once Blaze throws him in, especially around here, he can just jump over the walls and basically get out for free. He needs a root immediately. So the combination has to really, really be on point. There's another throw onto Lux. Hanzo going on in. There's a nice silence from Hayes, going to be able to disengage, but Infrared being able to just get out just in the nick of time, being able to Eon out of there. And he was looking like he'd be one dead pup, but he makes it on out. Thankfully, cooldown came up and he was able to do so. So you got Electra down bottom, really spanking Chips right now. At this point, there's no way for Chips to win this. I don't think many people actually can realistically win against Phoenix, which is why I'm surprised that they would even offer the opportunity to give Phoenix to Lux. So on the other side of the map, wars have been picked up. We're going to see the Conviction, so extra speed, being able to avoid getting thrown, potentially being able to get out if he is thrown, being able to catch up to people, highly useful. We're going to also see the one good spread. There's Iron Skin being popped. Nothing for nothing's going to happen here. We got the Explosive Arrow, so we're going to get more Wave Clear, Emergency Protocol, and finally Strike at the Heart. That's for Lux's side. We've also got Enveloping Assault. So Base State taking a lot of damage. Very nice body blocks coming out from Blaze, and he will be going down. Genji, nicely done with that E, manages to escape Blaze's. Well, I guess this will be slightly confusing. We'll just say TDB, since there's actually a Blaze in the match. So TDB's Q, he dodges it with the Swift. Infrared now getting harassed a little bit. There comes the Lurking Arm, not going to really do much there. And they have now gotten themselves a little bit of a gain or advantage. They're now going to be able to turn in some of those gems without getting poked. We got 22 drop, 25 on the other side. There's a throw onto Patches. Patches doesn't have to really worry at this point. There's a nice E onto Rossi. Malfurion will go down. He's going to be in the Emerald Dream for a little while. Patches, however, will not be getting out of there as Infrared just chomps on down, gets himself a Genji, and looks like Blaze threw TDB threw him over. A little strange, but nonetheless, it's okay. They got themselves a kill on Genji. They countered the kill, and really they're getting themselves a little bit of a nice lead here now. Salted Snacks. Now, nothing major. TDB taking a lot of poke damage from Swoop over there. There comes Rossi coming on in. Gets thrown on out. The root coming out really late. Kind of wasteful. But 7s have been hit for both teams. Patch is trying to clear up the mid, and he has to be really careful. There's also a gank attempt coming on down. Okay, so Hayes has gotten it on out. There's a silence. Interrupt on there. So Salted Snacks is now applying all the pressure for the most part. There is 7, and Base State will actually sneak it in. They did get the extra kills, but as they all congregated around bottom, other than Base State, they have so much poke, it's very easy. They just basically need to not be where the Chromie is on Lux, and they can get the turn in, which is what, well, she was down here, allowing Base State to actually turn in for the side of Lux. So taking a look at what else we have. So we have the Dragon's Eye and Enveloping Assault. So a full Dragon's Eye build. Dragon's Breath build. You don't really see this very often. I'd say this is almost never seen, honestly. We'll see how well it works out though. So we're going to get Chromie's technically heroic coming on out now. There's Base State coming on in very deep now, but he's just interrupting. Ooh, TDB just misses the Q, aim in the wrong way. So top's been cleared out, not a whole lot done there. Top is very important to clear because it sets up for taking the boss. And when you have a Hanzo, although he didn't take the talent to help them do the boss, it's very important still to control that boss and potentially like use it in the game. So mid is cleared up, mid lost the front wall, bot lost the front wall. There's a lot of pressure now on the side of Salted Snacks to recover. There's walls on every part of the map for Lux on the other hand. But what's really good for Salted Snacks, Blaze already has completed his Q quest. Now he'll be able to use this significantly more, interrupt them significantly more, and this is going to be really, really important, especially when he picks up the shielding that goes with the Q. So TDB is carrying 20, Infrared holding 12. They have multiple people who can turn in, and even Chips. Phoenix is actually lead him down to Patches. I don't know if this is where they want to lead him because I think they lose this. There's the loop onto Lux. Lux is getting annihilated. The loop lands, energy drop in the Spirit Bomb, and so you know that is definitely not what you really want. And they have no cleanse, so this is not a really good battle for them to have. Energy does not have up his big damage. Very nice Dragon's Arrow coming on in. There's the Dragon's Blade. Chips gets interrupted on the jet propulsion. Well, I guess more so bodied on his jet propulsion. Energy not able to connect with another Dragon's Breath. And down goes a counter kill on the side of Lux. So they do get the Web Weavers that are now descending. They'll be able to apply some counter pressure. They do lose the Siege Giants. At the same time, we see a bunch of heroics be used, like very big heroics. And these Web Weavers are going to be pushing when both teams are essentially even. So they're looking for the gank here. There's a Base State capturing him out. Rossi, now Patch is coming on in with that Swift Strike. Silence coming out, and Genji will not be able to make it out. So there's the Curse Bullet. It's actually 4 people now. Nice interrupt from Base State. Throw. There's going to be 30 gems lost, though, for Lux. They have just lost 30 gems. They lose the Chromie, but they lose 2 on the side of Lux. So a really nice attempt to gank on the side of Lux. Like, they catch him out. I do think Base State should have let them walk in. He was over here, and then he just basically flashlighted them. And I feel like he should have let them walk in, condemn them, and keep the fight a little bit closer at that point. And Genji had a Swift Strike in. Then at that point, there's nowhere for him to go, especially with a taunt. He's not going to escape. So they get a lot out of this on the counter side. They take down a fort. They don't get a wall, and they don't get a wall here. So it's a bit of a wash, if you will. Like, the mid's opened up on the side of Lux. Top is opened up a little bit, not much. And bottom is heavily opened up. In the meantime, though, we're actually going to see Electra bust out the Purification Salvo. I'm not going to really do anything there. That's kind of a big ult to be down. Not terribly long, but not great either. Swoop is going to be able to get on out of there real easily. Electra, though, they're still searching for him. Oh no, there's 4 members. There's the attempt to try and juke him out, and all of Lux is collapsing. There's the Blessed Shield. They are now onto them. There's a toss-up by TDB, and that will disengage the situation entirely. So Blessed Shield's down. Purification Salvo's down for a little bit, and they now have enough for a back-to-back turn-in on the side of Salted Snacks. It looks like they're going to try and interrupt this. Ooh, Infrared just taking the tip right there. Base State is all alone right now, so as long as he's not tossed in, he should be okay. There's the Unstoppable. He's going to re-engage here to interrupt as the rest of the team comes on in. There is the time trap. Not going to do too much. Oh, he's rooted, though. Garage. There they go. There's the arrow onto him. They have secured the kill onto Garage. He's been blown up. There's the Twilight Dream, though. And a big root going to be coming on down to Base State. And that will be the only kill, though, for Garage. Except if Energy can land this. Patches does have the Swift Strike up, and he will be walking on out of here. So a lot of damage drop in. Energy just dropping bombs all day long. 23k basically at this point of the game, but at the same time Hanzo is almost at the same numbers. So they dropped some bombs, they got themselves a single kill, And the good news is they held on to their gems. They still can go and turn in with what they have. Patches reading that without actually being able to see the Dragon's Breath, expecting it to come on in. And so they're still looking to turn in Lux. Oh no, that's really bad. Base state is really low. They're going to hammer onto Hayes. They're looking for the kill here. There's a nice cue from TDP. Say goodbye to Stukov and Johanna. A love story that you never knew existed. So that is going to be really, really bad. And there is a bunker drop along with the ice block to ensure that purification salvo gets absolutely no value. So this is one of the things. Purification salvo gets canceled out by a bunker. So even though he beats him in lane, he then loses the value of his heroic essentially, unless they can lock him down or lock the enemy team down or use it after the bunker. You have to be basically holding it or CCing before they can get into the bunker. There's a time loop. There's the arrow to prevent anything. Infrared goes on in to try and chew on up Swoop, but I guess the dog treat wasn't good enough for him, and Swoop will manage to survive. So we now have the back-to-back web weavers. A lot of heroics have been blown on both sides. The base state is on top of TDB looking for the catch on Patches. There's the Iron Skin coming on out. He's now going to be rooted though. There's the root, and I don't know if they'll be able to do anything off that. Okay, so they clear out one tower. Swoop has taken a lot of damage here. They're looking to finish up one of these one into the other towers, and then they can make their way back into mid. Bot lane has already been lost, so really they just need to interrupt the rotations here as they are right now on the side of Salted Snacks. Nice job from Base State, coming on in, being aggressive, trying to prevent him from getting a lot of value there. Base State just getting absolutely nuked on down, basically losing close to 50% of his health from Energy's combo. So the good news for Lux is they have 64 gems, which means they can turn in and actively defend. Or sorry, they can turn in and be able to counter all of Salted Snacks push that they have so far. So taking a look, looks like we're going to see a gank attempt come on out. Nothing special. There's the flashlight. Base State going to kind of come on in, but we have all of Salted Snacks sitting around waiting for a delicious, nutritious treat. But say hello to Patches. Patches just drops on in some gems, and blue web weavers are going to be descending on into this now. So there's a nice engage coming on in. They're going to be annihilating one member there. Infrared being caught out from the Blessed Shield. There's another one. Say goodnight to two members of Salted Snacks. Twilight Dream coming on in to try and prevent a further engage. And very nicely done on the side of Lux. They find themselves a pick. Salted Snacks was unfortunately too split, and that's not necessarily a great place for them to fight, especially with Hayes there. Hayes drops that Stukov lurking arm, and, well, say goodnight. Like, you're not going to be able to do anything against the lurking arm, against that. Some T-Tours for you, so sorry about that. They're getting a ton of value now. They hit 16. Taking a look at what each team has. We got timeout and the quantum overdrive. We got the fuel leak, thermal chips. There's the Blessed Shield coming on in again. Hayes taking a lot of damage. There's the root. There's the bunker. And say goodbye as the stiff arm has taken him to another planet. They won't be getting anything else. The bunker doing a lot of work there. So they managed to take down the front wall. They managed to take down a front wall, and they managed to take down a front wall. That's a lot of value. I mean, they didn't get a keep, but now they can pressure any of these keeps trivially because they have 67 gems. 67 gems, and they need to go and turn them in ASAP. Unfortunately, Base State is the one who's carrying half of these gems at this point, so they really need some good zone control. And it actually looks like Salted Snacks, instead of trying to contest this, are opting to get the bruisers to try and help alleviate some pressure. Now, I'm not sure I agree with this, Paul, of going on in because are taking the bruisers. They had all the heroics available now, and I think they could have had a pretty fair fight. They have a Chromie, and Chromie should be getting them some good poke. And if we look, she completed her Sandblast as well. And we did get the sharpened arrowheads, which I mentioned before. I didn't have a chance to go over all these talents since there's been, a ton of action. Holy Fury, Imposing Presence, the Pox Populi, Virulent Reaction, Ninja Assassin, Piercing Arrows, Auxiliary Shields, Arsenal, Overcharge, the Steady Blade, and Flow Like Water. Base, and we got TDB coming on in. There's the arrow whiffing. Swoop is being the focus. There's the taunt. There's the damage. And say goodbye to Hanzo. And we only have one living Shimada brother at this point, and they should be able to clear this up relatively for free at this point now. So they do have to contend with losing a bottom keep, however. Very nicely done for getting the kill, but they lose a keep. The only good news is that they really needed to sacrifice that keep, in my opinion, because it's a 20 versus 18 situation. If it was a 5v5, they were looking at losing every keep and potentially losing a giant fight. TDB getting the throw. There's the root. There's a follow-up stun onto Patches, and there goes Infrared looking for the kill. He will not be able to secure it. They are on the chase right now. There's the throw from TDB. They are looking for Patches. One more hit. Down he goes. And there we go. Infrared on the prowl right now. They are now chasing down Hayes, who has nowhere to go. He has been taunted. Electra cannot help. There is 3 members down right now on the side of Lux. They did the worst thing possible. They tried to overstay, and we do see the shield apparently being down, but not actually in the game. I don't know what's happening in this game UI, but apparently it's ticking down. So there's a UI bug, a very funny one. So Salted Snacks now have a huge opportunity here. They're not 20, but they do have a 3-man advantage in the meantime. Infrared taking a lot of damage. He needs to back on out and just let the regen heal him up in the meantime. So they also have enough for a turn in. They need to go and turn in right now alongside of this boss. And then they'll have the pressure to not have to defend. They can push alongside the boss, and they're actually looking to delay this, but if they delay this, Bay State might be cut out. There's the Blessed Shield to safely poke him down and prevent him from turning in, but that's a heroic down. Now they'll be able to melt through the boss, but the Web Weavers are coming. They'll help defend. Garage is actually full back there, so they actually have an opportunity right now to fight him as a 5v4 on the side of Lux. They don't get any value out of that boss because of very nicely done by Base Day, safely preventing him from doing anything. And the Web Weavers are all the way back. So they get this great opportunity to get a kill, but or they get these great kills, but they aren't able to capitalize on it. So they get the boss. Bay State interrupts the turn-in twice and then prevents them from actually doing anything alongside the boss. However, they do have everything up except they don't have to worry about Blessed Shield for the next 8 seconds. However, I don't think they actually know how much cooldown is left on Blessed Shield since it's so short. And since it's so short, TDB looking for a big flank here. There he goes. There's the Q going to whiff, but they can potentially... Nah, Bay State has that conviction, allowing him to speed on out of there. And that's kind of critical. Electra, though, might be getting caught out. He does warp away. They are still looking. He does get dismounted, TDB. There's the throw. Chips now has jet propulsion potentially to come on in. Johanna, she has Iron Skin. There's the Q. But they send Garage to the other side of the map. There's a big Dragon Arrow. Electra is so close to dying. There's the Ice Block. And Malfurion will not survive this. Bay State is super low as well. They send him out. Bunker being used. Energy will not be able to survive this. They engage, but they engage without a Garage as he's sent to the other side of the map. And Hayes once again uses that stiff arm to send another member of Salted Snacks all the way to the other side. Infrared trying to secure the kill, will be able to do so. They trade out though, and they've lost another member. There's one man standing. There's the taunt, and I do not think it'll be for much because TDB has 4 members chasing, but a beautiful Q coming out from TDB, and he's still looking to escape, but Patches comes on in with the swift strike and say goodbye. Wow. What a terrific fight there. Hayes MVP, baby. I mean, is absolutely crazy. I mean, Blaze, or sorry, Hayes just dropping the arm to send him across, like, and he picked up push comes a shove. So he had that cooldown basically reduced instantly, allowing him to do it 5 seconds later to send another member of Salted Snacks across the planet. So, taking a look at some of these numbers that we have in the meantime, Gromy doing so much work. Greymane actually doing a ton of work there as well. And if we look at the healing numbers, they're super close as well. What it came down to was the few fights that we saw Salted Snacks make a mistake on. That last fight, they committed without Barrage. And then they were still fighting after that. And a huge arrow coming on in as well from Swoop. I mean, it looked like Electro was going to die, but the counter engage from Lux was so good and so crisp. I mean, you don't see counter engages usually that good, especially when a single member is nearly on the brink of death. So Phoenix honestly almost got no value in terms of DPS. He did a ton of work in the siege department, but in actual DPS numbers, he wasn't actually contributing very heavily, in part due to that bunker, the ice block, the timeout. I mean, really, Phoenix had no one to use his purification salvo on. They basically negate it entirely since you can time it 100%. I'd almost say Planet Cracker could have had more value here, just at least like to nuke the bunker, because if you drop down the bunker in the Planet Cracker, it's going to get melted. So very nice job here on the side of Lux, and a nice attempt from Salted Snacks to secure themselves the win. Unfortunately, didn't go their way that last team fight, so they still have another opportunity to once again prevent Lux from reaching the coveted domination. So sit on tight, and we'll be right back with the second match of the series.
All shall burn! All shall burn!
All right, guys. So we are back with the next match in our series between Lux and Salted Snacks. So Lux came away with the first win in this series. They have unfortunately had the luck of never winning the full best of two series. They only walk away with one of the two matches. So maybe they'll be able to get themselves their very first win here. Now, don't know if it'll happen, but we'll see if it does manage to happen. So the first band's coming on out. We're going to see Hanzo and the Mayab. Kind of the respect band there for swoops, really nice arrows that came on out. And then the Medivh, however, is going to see some action. I'm really hyped to see Medivh because I feel like you'll see lower division teams who can't play Medivh because he's a little bit more. He requires more communication and better execution from individual members of the team, and then a lot of times you don't get value out of the protects or even his ability to really do a decent amount of damage. So TDB should be Blaze TDB should be back on that garage. He played it pretty well. A few Qs here and there that missed, but they themselves are going to pick up the Stukov. I mean, Hayes' Stukov looked really nice, especially with those stiff arms. He was sending people to another planet. I mean, he almost sent them to another galaxy with how he was landing those bad boys. Now, I gotta say that I definitely like that they take this Stukov away, and we're going to see a little bit of Team 12, Roll20 Esports, um, kind of going on here with the whole Medivh and Diablo. So they're going to pick up Phoenix again. Keep in mind, Phoenix got countered hard in terms of his actual DPS output, and he did, however, win the solo lane. So they can opt to do the very same thing here, which is pick up the Blaze, counter Phoenix's heroic, but know that he's going to lose the actual 1v1. And I don't know if that'll be optimal. They might have to opt for someone else who can play from range and potentially stick a little bit better to the lane versus Phoenix. Now, I don't know who can because Phoenix basically has a ton of HP regen in the form of his shield, so he can trade super easily. Then he ports away and he waits 5 seconds and he gets, a massive regen boost on his side. So the Blaze is going to be the ban. I'm not quite sure about the Blaze ban. I'm assuming they're trying to force Phoenix to actually be the solo laner again, and this time they have a game plan how they want to Phoenix. I'm not sure what they're going to opt to do because, like I said, I haven't seen too many people who have successfully beat a Phoenix in lane, other than if the Phoenix misplays or there's some solid rotations. So the Genji will now be the ban on this side of Lux. Now, if I'm Lux, I'd say I definitely would say that there's something up the sleeve of Salted Snacks. They still need their support. Malfurion is still available. There was no support locking, if you will, by taking out the Blaze, or sorry, taking out the Malfurion, which is another odd thing because you'll often see the team that picks Stukov bans out the Malfurion, forcing them to go with quote unquote a lower tier support. Now, in the case of not banning out the Malfurion and going with the Blaze, well, here's exactly what's happening. They got Tyrael, who's going to be sitting in that top lane instead of the Blaze. They don't want to give them the opportunity to take Blaze and keep them in the 4-man, because that also hinders Phoenix's Q build significantly, which is where it was slightly odd that we saw Phoenix pick up the Q build, because he has to sit bottom for a chunk of it, and he's not going to get those Q stacks until much later into the game. So we're going to get Tyrael and Li Ming. Li Ming is going to be their finisher, and so now they need at least one other ranged DPS. There's no Hanzo for the race. They could pick up Greymane again here. Greymane's really good on the race here, and the problem in this particular case, they have to deal with a Diablo on the side of Salted Snacks. However, Lux is going to be picking up that Greymane, because Greymane, he does have to worry about the silence and the taunt. Oh, excuse me. However, there is the protection on the side of Medivh, so they're also going to get the Rhaegar to be able to give that burst heal. And additionally, Greymane can go with Cursed Bullet and play more of a ranged build in this particular case, and go in a little bit later on. So normally when I say that Greymane isn't a good pick, this would be a little more questionable, because there's the Stukov and Garrosh that can really screw up Greymane's day. Now, on the other hand, the Cursed Bullet on Garrosh will be pretty high value, especially if they can land it before Diablo wall charges and wall bangs Garrosh. And if they do manage to do that, that's one tank instantly gone. Now, once he's out of the picture, or if they're able to bait out a taunt and Greymane is not in there, Greymane can go absolutely crazy, just tear through whoever he wants. I mean, they can even go for the throat to try and kill the Stukov and just annihilate him. And the final pickup here is going to be the Tychus. I really like this Tychus pick, because they get the Sanctification. They have the Stukov to help with essentially peeling, because they can now, technically, they can now just basically say, well, you want to come in, Diablo? Silence, no flip, no second charge, and we're going to drop the Sanctification so no one can do damage, and Tychus just melts through Diablo's health pool. Medivh will have to be very good about when he drops his Force of Wills to prevent that situation. So, of these two teams, I like Salted Snacks, I think, draft a little bit better this time around in comparison. Of course, my webcam isn't properly working, so we're gonna switch back to the normal view. So Salted Snacks, I kind of like their draft a little bit more. The problem here is that Salted Snacks has gone with a Tyrael in the top lane, and in the top lane, that's where Phoenix is going to be. He's going to, I feel like, lose that lane very hard, Debs. And it's going to be the same story. They're basically going to have to rely on winning the team fights in order to get themselves this immortal, because their race is worse, significantly worse, in my opinion. Between Phoenix, Greymane, and Rhaegar, Salted Snacks are going to have to really take it to Lux. They're going to have to grab those peanuts, toss them at Lux, and hope that Luxorian Sun doesn't actually, burn them to a crisp. The other thing that we'll see is how effective Rhaegar's ancestral heals are, because that's really a big deal. I mean, Rhaegar's big heals will be the difference between infrared resetting and probably winning the game, and Lux winning the team fight. So we are now in this final match between Luxorian Sun and Salted Snacks, with Lux having a 1-0 victory so far. So for Lux, we got Electra once again back on that Phoenix. We have Haze on the Rhaegar, Patches on the Greymane, Bay State on the Diablo, and finally we're going to have Swoop swooping on in Crow form for Medivh. On the side of Salted Snacks, we got Chips on Tyrael. We got Blaze TDB once again on the Garrosh. We got Rossi on that Stukov, Energy on the Tychus, Infrared on the Li Ming. And that will be Salted Snacks. Bay State coming on in, going to be flipped on back very quickly. Sorry for the lag spike there on my end. So nothing for nothing there. They're going to be pushing them back right now. They can't really get too deep in there because Infrared isn't the best wave clear. Greymane is pretty good wave clear, but with Haze's Lightning Shield, Bay State can walk on in, help clear up the wave, but it's even for the most part because they can't venture too far forward because Blaze will just, throw them over. Blaze getting an interesting position here. There's going to be toss. There's the cube, but he's going to be queuing on out there. TDB in a bad position now. There's the silence onto him. And say goodbye to Garrosh as he tried to make the cheeky play, and it did not work out. In the top lane, playing out exactly as I thought. We got Electra coming on in, getting the camp already. This is really efficient use of one time. Chips actually realizes what's going on here. Knowing that he's been pushed out of the lane super hard, is going to come on down and try and stop this. But with Soup here, they really can't do too much. On the other side, however, Bay State and Haze taking a boatload of damage. No one going down, but they do have to deal with camps in all the lanes. So they've now switched to a 2-3 split, which is very interesting because the top lane was already winning super hard. Swoop coming on in, ensuring that they get that. And at the same time, Salted Snacks not recognizing the rotation of Swoop at all. And so Energy very far forward, going to take a bit of damage. TDB aiming that Q the wrong way. It might be a little bit drunk. Drunk on power for Garage. And so lanes are still pretty even, a little bit of an XP lead on the side of Lux, but overall everything is looking good for both teams. The camps have already been used, they were cleared up, almost cleared up, and like I said, Chip is out of mana, completely out of mana here. He has absolutely no way of beating Electra, and Electra is going to get this wall pretty quickly. Now both teams starting to work on their their bruiser camps. They should both be ready to go pretty shortly here. I'd actually like to see Salted Snacks rotate up to deal with the top. They need to clear this up as a team really fast, or at least one person to help Chips because he's getting absolutely bodied right now. So we're gonna have Salted Snacks take the defensive position in the meantime, but no one's helping. If they're going to play the defensive position, they should clear this up. Help Chips. There's TDB looking potentially for Electra. They're not going to catch him. They're going to start working on this wall. And in the meantime, we're actually going to have Bay State and Swoop come on in to start this Immortal. Of course, like they really can't do too much. In the bot lane, on the other hand, Patches and Haze taking down that front wall, really exploiting the fact that they know exactly where they are on the side of Salted Snacks. Salted Snacks is trying to alleviate the pressure in top lane. And while they see that happening, Lux does the perfect thing, like, well, let's go and get some more structure damage. Like, this Immortal is the weakest in the game, so taking down structures is going to infinitely be better. Bay State going right for the face of Rossi, and Rossi will be going on down there as Greymane confirms the kill. And now Blaze TDB is the focus of Lux. They should be able to take this on down right now, and they have already gotten this Immortal down to 50%. Just like I said, Lux has the better clear, and if they do not win the team fight on the side of Salted Snacks, they lose this game 100%. They have to win the team fights, otherwise they cannot ever win the race. And because there's so much pressure from that pick from Phoenix, Electra has basically taken down the front wall for the most part, and they can actually walk on in and take down this fort. They have a level 7, a talent advantage. There's a throw onto Bay State. He will be slowed. He does have that protect. He's taken a boatload of damage, and he will be popping on out. So looking at the talents, we're going to see the Insatiable actually coming out here. We're also going to get the Wizened Duelist. We have the Cleanse, the Healing Totem, the Wolf Run. We got Winds of Celerity. We got the Raven Familiar. There's Bay State going on in, trying to grab energy. He's been thrown on over though. However, the very nice Silence coming on out. Patch is going to have to back on out. And they've gotten Lux to be on the run at this point. Swoop dropping that protected. There's another toss onto Bay State. He does have a portal to get on out now. And so even though they potentially had the opportunity to get a kill, the Medivh just allows the disengage to go through. So Chip's now going to be the focus here. He has to deal with being targeted by everyone. He does manage to just juke in time with 300 or so health left on his health pool. They're trying to save this fort, and I don't know if they'll be able to. Looking for an engage here from TDB. They're trying to go, but Medivh just disengages all day long. This is why you'll see a lot of teams just ban Medivh. Medivh is a nightmare to play against. Do you really want to be chasing an enemy and then all of a sudden you have no one to grab? There's TDB getting a nice Q. He's already completed. No, I thought he already completed that. So he's up at 10 stacks. He needs 5 more to finish this. They are getting this bottom siege camp, however, and they're sticking as 5. They realize that it doesn't really work for them to have Chips top. At least right now, it hasn't been working for him. There's another Q for TDB. There's the protected. There's the portal. And Resident Sleeper fight has occurred. This is why you'll see Medivh so commonly banned. Like I was saying, you wait for the portal to be up. Portal comes up. You can fight and be as crazy as you want to be. And then just back on out. So we got Swoop coming on in, scouting out the situation, but it's not going to matter. He actually scares Salted Snacks off because they have the 10 advantage. And this was a very nice bluff on the side of Lux. I mean, this is a very safe bluff, but they've bluffed Salted Snacks away from the Bruiser camp. So they now have to deal with this Shaman camp. They don't have 10s. There's the engage onto energy. He does get thrown out. He will be fine. And there's the portal. So portal play coming out again, making life absolutely terrible for the side of Salted Snacks. There's the throw to keep energy alive and well. And Infrared coming on in to drop bombs from the side. Trying to play as safe as possible. Swoop now has a portal to prevent Infrared from, really pushing in from that side. Bay State going on in again. APOC still not being used yet. There's a throw, another nice Q, but setting up for the APOC. APOC is going to come on out, hits one member. They will focus on down energy and say goodbye to energy. So with energy being out of this, 10 still not being picked up, this is going to be nearly a full immortal. So Wizened Duelist only at 2 stacks at this point, so not a whole lot there. At the same time, they re-engage here. There's a throw onto Bay State. Bay State does get the protected. The portal coming on out, and there's a taunt from TDB. They have that 10. There's the Unstoppable. I don't know if it will be enough. The Rhaegar Ancestral does connect. They are now pushing on in, but this Immortal is almost done for. This may have actually been a critical mistake by Blaze. He got too aggressive, coming back on in. He, however, does not have to worry because Swoop with those portals and say goodbye to Lux because they will now be tapping it up and coming on back. TDB getting really nice position, trying to prevent them from re-engaging here, and they've melted this Immortal very, very well. Rossi getting the massive shove, not very far. Energy taking a lot of damage. There's the Sink, and they are now chasing Patches. Patches will be fine. They managed to he manages to get out, and Blaze TDB will be tapping, but they'll be able to get this really easily. Hayes is really far on out right now. There's a protected. They'll finish this up. He'll run on out, and with that extra movement speed. Blaze, though, looking for a fight here. There's another throw. There should be the disengage. Leyline Seal coming on now. APOC, do we have that? No. There's a shove. Rossi, however, will not be staying long for this world. Patches is still chasing down Chips. Chips is running, but I don't know if he'll be able to make it as he has nowhere to fall back to. There's another down. Base State looking for another kill, and he has been thrown in. There's the taunt. They are trying to kill Base State, and they will not be able to do so. There's the portal. Patch is coming on in. Patch is trying and not going to be able to confirm anything else. So, in the meantime, we have this Immortal pushing in. Immortal will not be able to get a keep. This is good news. Odin coming on out. I'm not sure if the Odin was really called for. Patch is going to take a boatload of damage from that Odin. There's the APOC onto Energy. They connect, but Energy gets tossed on out. Very nice shove. And there is the Ancestral to keep Patches on up. Bay State will be able to get on out. There's the Phoenix. Using that Purification Salvo. Nothing's happening still. No one is going down here. And we got the saying, Patches! Patches gets thrown on back. Say goodbye to the Wizened Duelist. And he has lost him. So that fight going back and forth, a lot of heroics being burned. We see Sanctification available again. We have the massive shove in the top lane. So Salted Snacks is making their way back into this game. They didn't lose the keep, but this keep is snipeable by the likes of Greymane or Phoenix. This was a lot, I feel like, on the side of Lux. They basically overstayed for that keep. Really wanting to overpower onto TDB. There's a toss. TDB has nowhere to go, but there is a Sanct available. If they need it, they will just be able to walk on out. Unstoppable has been burnt by TDB, and so they have yet to hit 13, and they do have Haze and Electra. They should identify this situation. However, there is a Medivh. Medivh will be able to disengage the fight really quickly and really easily should they try to fight 5v3. So it's a damned if you do and a damned if you don't. As someone in my chat said, Medivh debated. Exactly, like you basically debate the fight again by having a 5v3 with Medivh just being able to try and get him to fight, but they're not going to achieve anything. And Odin being used, I'm not sure this was the time. TDB looking for, there's the Q, there's the throw, and are we going to get the taunted? There is no portal for him. And say goodbye to Electra? No, but a beautiful Leyline Seal. The Sanctification coming out. The APOC absolutely doing nothing, and they are still looking for the kill. Patches is going to be dismounted. Electra coming on in, and no kills for either team, but a lot of heroics have been used. So we're going to have Salted Snacks starting up this Immortal. They're going to back on off. They do have Wave of Force. They still have Massive Shove as expected. There's a nice shove to keep Diablo from doing a whole lot there. And with Infrared able to drop bombs on the portal, there's the overpower onto TDB. We finally got Arcane done for it. Purification Salvo coming on out, but the root from Stukov. Chips just barely surviving there. And they're looking for the re-engage, and Chips will be able to survive, however. There's the overpower on Energy, and say goodbye to Energy. And another kill for the side of Lux. So this is a pretty big bloodbath, these fights, where people are taking tons of damage. Some people are going down every once in a while, but I mean, this is all-out brawls between both teams. And without their Tychus, their actual race is significantly diminished. I mean, they do have... They actually have Illusionist coming out here. They do catch out Blaze TDB, however, and I don't know if he'll be able to make it. The Holy Ground coming on out. The Leyline Seal has been used, and Stukov is now going to be chased on down. There's the portal, the body blocks. Bay State has now caught himself a Rossi, and say goodbye to Stukov. So, Odin has been used. The Odin will get absolutely nothing done here. Bay State is sitting here trying to be able to get some more wall bangs. He should have some stacks here on the Diablo. He has 3 right now. And so there's the re-engage. There's the throw onto Bay State. He has no one near him. He can't get to that portal. He's getting body blocked, but so is TDB. There's a Purification Salvo. The armor, though, from the Q will not be enough as Electra secures 2 kills. So This keep is going to be going down. This immortal is going to be at roughly 50% and pushing in the top lane. Catapults will start spawning now in the bot lane. This is going to be really difficult for Salted Snacks to come back from. They're also going to be down a 16 versus 13 scenario, which is not what you want to see. 16 versus 13, a half shielded immortal. I'm really scared for Salted Snacks right now. I don't believe they can actually defend this because they don't have Odin available at all. What they need is an insane mass shove from Rossi to actually send someone to another planet. Blaze coming on in. He's looking for it. He can't actually throw anyone anywhere. And Blaze is getting annihilated. He does manage to get on out of there. He was super low, walks away, and that's what you want to see. APOC coming on in, a dry APOC catching no one, but he does stun Rossi, and Rossi will not be long for this world. The sanctification comes on out, but it's not going to be enough. There's the ley line seal, and they are still looking for more blood. They take down the keep, and they are looking to end this game at this very moment. Blaze is going to be going on down. There is a big damage onto Electra as Infrared connects with the bomb of that orb. However, Core's taking damage, Shield's about to drop, Infrared trying to heal up as much as possible, Energy trying his best, but he is not going to be staying up here, and they have done it. Lux have confirmed their very first domination win against one of the top 3 teams currently in Heroic Division. So Lux going to be jumping on up in those standings quite heavily, and I gotta applaud Lux. They looked good and they played quite well. So I gave this game initially to Salted Snacks. I thought their draft looked good and that they could secure kills and win the team fights. However, they weren't able to. I kind of miscalculated the Medivh factor of like, okay, they're going to be doing damage. They're going to be dropping bombs. They're going to be melting Diablo. But guess what? It doesn't matter. There's a portal. Say goodbye to your least favorite heroes or your least favorite enemy team. Maybe your most favorite enemy team. But say goodbye to the enemy team. As Medivh says, we're out of here. And there's so much damage that came on down from the side of Tychus and Li Ming, but it didn't matter ultimately. They had 23k shielding. That's a lot. And then they had 50k healing. That combined is more healing than Stukov got alone. I mean, if we take a look at healing and shielding, 4k from Tyrael, not too much. And a quick look at the talents. Like, I missed the talents because there was so much happening in that game. Justice for All, Stellar Angel, Swiftret, Sanctification, the Holy Ground. We got the defensive measures, Warlord Challenge, Into the Fray, Indomitable, Warbreaker, Dash, In the Rhythm, Quarterback, Commander Odin. That's the stuff. So what's interesting, they chose In the Rhythm instead of the Bigger They Are, especially with that's the stuff, and it requires In the Rhythm to complete or your minigun to complete before it actually will heal. So I feel like this is a miscalculation for Energy to have chosen this, especially against a Diablo. Like, your goal is to nuke the Diablo, get him down as low as possible, and just finish him off, especially when you have to deal with Medivh and kill him before he's able to get to the portal. We got the Power Hungry coming on now, the Dominance, Calamity, the Wave of Force, Illusionist, and then we have the Virulent Reaction, Massive Shove, Within My Reach, One Good Spread, and Growing Infestation. On the other side, we had the normal Diablo build. We had Soul Shield come out since he was a solo tank, although there was only really Li Ming to drop a ton of damage on him, magic damage. We had the APOC, we had Devastating Charge, and of course Domination. Other side, we had the Wolfheart, the Insatiable, Wizened Duelist, Go for the Throat, Running Wild, and Executioner. We had the Wolf Run, the Healing Totem, the Cleanse, Ancestral Healing, Earth Shield, and finally Earth Grasp Totem. For the Medivh, Winds of Celerity, and Raven Familiar, Arcane Explosion, Leyline Seal, Enduring Will, and Stable Portal. And then finally, Advanced Targeting, Emergency Protocol, Combat Advantage, Purification Salvo, Auxiliary Shields, and finally, Arsenal Overcharge. Now, like I said, very nicely done by Lux. They really dominated that game, and I actually think it was in part due to Swoop's Medivh. I mean, disengage after disengage after disengage. So sit on tight. We're about to go to an actual interview with Swoop. So let me hit up the Discord, grab him into one of the NGS channels, so that you can all enjoy his thoughts on the match between the two. All right, it should just be a second. I needed to boot up my Discord. So let me give Swoop a call. Where is Lux? It's gonna be hard. And find them. Don't see them actually in the list. Okay, they just direct message him. Okay, where is let me get him on Discord. Hey, how's it going? Let me just turn on my desktop audio to get this.
Sure.
Okay, there we go. So, congratulations first and foremost on your team's very first domination victory. So,
Heck yeah.
So, how does that feel to finally close out a series with 2 wins instead of only 1?
You know, it feels heckin' darn good. I'd say shout out to Tempest, the guy who writes for NGS Heroic Division. He predicted we were going to lose this week. So shout out to our haters. There are no, but for real, it feels really good. We just recently made a role swap with Patches, and we're feeling really good. Our games are looking really good, and we're feeling more confident, and we're looking forward to getting more wins.
Yeah. So, what was switches then, or switches? What was the switch from Patch's role before, and who switched with him?
Right. So we had a player W the Rock B. He played like primarily ranged heroes. Like, so he played a lot of Hanzo and Mage. Right now Patches comes in. He plays kind of like a more of a mixture of like he plays like Genji and Greymane and Mages as well. But he doesn't play Hanzo. So you see me taking up that Hanzo in game 1. And a few others. I mean, like right now we're kind of figuring out our hero pool, but it's a slight adjustment, but I think it fits our playstyle really well. We're a pretty big like team. We like to go in and get blowups, and that's kind of the heroes that we're getting.
Yeah. So were you guys surprised? So first off, were you surprised they let you get Phoenix, especially past what was it, the second ban in the first game and in even the second game?
I'm not surprised. I think the general consensus amongst Heroic Division and just Masters and Pro players in general is that Phoenix is a little overrated, and I think that's true as like Phoenix as the hyper carry. But I think people are gonna pretty quickly find out that Phoenix is one of the most dominant solo laners in the game.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's a storm that's coming. I didn't mean to give away some sleeper strats right there, but it's something that we've kind of been playing around with and we really like. And I wasn't surprised it got through first game because people are expecting it to be in your 4-man.
Yep.
I was surprised they banned the Blaze in the second game.
Same.
Because I figured they'd already realized that Phoenix was going to be our solo laner. So I think that maybe they just hadn't adjusted and realized that that's what we were doing.
Okay. Yeah, because I literally said during the cast, I don't know what the Blaze ban is. So same thoughts as you guys. So independently, two individuals did not understand the Blaze ban. And secondly, when I saw the Phoenix, I assumed that they had a plan for how to beat Phoenix in the solo lane, but they picked up the Tyrael. Were you guys surprised that they chose Tyrael to solo lane against Phoenix after how Chips essentially got dominated, I feel, by Electra?
I think I don't know exactly what happened in their draft, so I can't totally speak for them. I can understand the Tyrael pick in that solo lane isn't like super important to dominate on a map like Battlefield of Eternity. So it's okay to like hold the solo lane with someone like Tyrael as long as you're expecting to win team fights. And maybe they were expecting us to go for Wombos because we took the Medivh at Diablo, but I didn't feel like that was really like the main part of our game plan or anything. So I don't think the Tyrael Sanks ended up getting much value at all. But I can understand what they were thinking maybe.
Yeah, that's fair. So in the first game with your draft, I'm assuming that when you guys have scrimmed in the past, like right now, like you said, Phoenix seems to be a sleeper OP for the solo lane. A lot of people are just trying to play him as hyper carries. Have you guys just dominated then in scrims where people are not respecting the fact that Phoenix has little to no counter at this point for a solo lane?
I have to be honest, we have not been practicing a lot in scrims. We threw a little bit of caution to the wind. I mean, we've just like over the weekend, our solo lane player, Electra, he just was playing a lot of Phoenix, and a few of us were playing it with him, and he was just getting really comfortable on it. And we're like, you know what? Like, it's a little bit of a risk because we haven't practiced it, but I believe, I just believed in our players, and they delivered. I think the Phoenix play was excellent, especially in Battlefield of Eternity.
Yeah. So in that first game, were you guys a little concerned after Salted Snacks wound up getting a 3-man advantage where Hanzo got the first death and then the rest of your team staggered additional 2 deaths?
That's my bad. I think they played that really well. I saw the time loop come out and I wasn't paying attention to my positioning as much, and the garage flank just came out at the exact right time. So it was a really good play by them to get those kills. I was surprised because I just, again, didn't expect it, but you have to expect good players to make plays like that. But I think we were still pretty confident coming back into the game. They were really pushed up.
Yeah, I think Bay State's play there was absolutely critical. The fact that he was able to delay the turn in twice, not even be picked off all the rest of your team, stop the boss, and the boss essentially got no value, which then means the web weavers were sitting in their base, not getting any further value either. I'm sure you guys must have been like really, really happy about that. You lost 3, but they got nothing really.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. I mean, their like core was under pressure because they were trying to get turn in, and they got no value off their boss. It was honestly really good shot calling by Hayes and just really good play all around by my team.
So that last fight, I think that was absolutely crazy. I'm gonna kind of like walk you back through it if you don't remember it. So Electra's being chased down, and Electra manages to get down to like roughly 25% HP, and then the counter from you guys where the dragon arrow comes out, and then Hayes drops that massive shove. Like, did you guys realize that Hayes had sent Garage to another planet?
I'm learning about it just now. I honestly, I mean, I knew that we won that fight really well, but I actually didn't realize that Garage got pushed out. I just know that in general, I thought that was a really good turn, and it obviously worked out for us. I was really happy because they used a lot to try and get the Phoenix. So
yeah,
we were just saying like, hey, they've already used a lot. Let's just turn and take this fight right here.
Yeah, when you go back to watch it, you'll see Hayes didn't just toss Karash out of the fight. He tossed another member out 5 seconds later out of the fight with another planetary expedition shove. Uh, so, what are the comms like in that sort of situation for you guys? Like, is Hayes doing the shot calling? It sounds like, or picking the
Um,
turn.
so Hayes makes a lot of the macro. I mean, makes like basically all the macro shot calls, and we just kind of follow them. In terms of when we're engaging, it's kind of a like a mix. It's a mix effort. It's really whoever thinks they have the engage kind of says, "Hey, I'm looking to go on this," and then Hayes will say like, "Yeah, like go," or the tank will if they have follow up. It's just as long as we have like an engage and reasonable follow up. And at that point, I don't feel like we had much of a choice. We kind of had to engage because Electra was in a bad spot. So I think everyone was in that specific circumstance. It might have been, I don't even remember what everyone said, but it was a lot of just instinct as well
Mhm.
as just general. It's whoever has the engage calls that though.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So that second game, uh, I'm going to kind of put you in the reverse situation. How frustrated do you think Salted Snacks was playing against your team? I mean, I don't think they had an opportunity to really secure a kill because of all those portals. I mean, you guys were in the fight, and it didn't even matter like how you positioned. The portal was always available to disengage. They had almost no capability to prevent the disengage with the portal, and you could walk in, screw up the fight as badly as possible, and then just walk away. It didn't even matter.
Yeah, it's really strong. I think Medivh is something I play a lot, and I mean I know that Medivh's just kind of the popular ban right now,
Mhm.
but we also play a lot of Medivh, and we're playing it before the rework as well, so we're pretty comfortable in general, just kind of playing around that and understanding our limits. And yeah, I focus more on sitting back and helping my teammates rather than trying to finish the quest because I think the quest kind of comes naturally, especially now that you have it at level 1. You have a lot of safer opportunities to poke. But that game especially, they had Garrosh and Stukov, and it's like when they have Garrosh and Stukov, you can't like really say, "Hey, I'm going to go up as Medivh and play super aggressive," because you will get punished for it so
Yep.
fast.
So there was a moment where I called it a bluff, where you alone went over onto their shaman camp and completely scared Salted Snacks away. Were you expecting them to completely stop taking that bruiser camp?
Um, some people, I mean, kind of. It's kind of a mixed bag because
Hmm.
they could definitely call my bluff there, but I think like we were literally getting heroic cooldowns at that moment.
Yep.
And if there was they didn't have vision on Diablo, so they couldn't really risk that. I think that was the right play by them.
Hmm.
But yeah, it was a bluff. I was mostly just getting vision.
Now, you said you play Medieval a lot. Have you guys been playing, I guess, Medieval comps quite a bit as well then, in general?
uh,
If
we
you,
try to. I mean, we try to, but it's just always banned now. Everyone's just no one likes playing against it.
yep.
He's still pretty overtuned. So I expect the bans to keep coming, but yeah, we try. We like to. It's a lot of fun.
So, I'm not sure if you guys have the updated standings, but like based on the old standings, that you guys are now going to be somewhere around, I think around 6 or tied for 6 potentially. Uh,
Mhm.
so how's that feel like to be moving from the bottom pack now back into the mid pack now that you got a domination win?
It feels really good. I think that just in general, at the beginning of the season, we looked okay, but we looked really vulnerable.
Hmm.
We had a lot of games where we just kind of got blown out, and it's something that we don't want to do anymore because I think we have the potential to 2-0 a lot of teams. I mean, I think we're taking games off people. People don't expect us to, but then we drop games that people don't expect us to. So so I'm hoping that we kind of move in the right direction and just stop dropping dumb games to death moshes.
I call that whenever I play with people, and it's like you have to avoid skills like that. It's like stop pumping each other's legs. That's the phrase I use. Uh,
Yeah.
so, from my last question for you, If you
Sure.
had any advice for like a lower division player in NGS, or I guess anywhere, what would you say like is probably the most important thing your team has learned in like let's say the past month or 2 months?
Um, that's a really good question. I think probably the most important thing is to, for me at least, is don't just be a slave to the meta. Play what your team is good at, because you get punished if you try and play meta picks and don't know how to play them. Because we were trying to play a lot of Maev, and none
Okay.
of us are really good Maev players, and it probably lost us a few games. And as well as just comms are so important. Just figure out how to do comms. I think that there's a lot of different comms that can work,
Hmm.
but it's when your comms are bad, you literally lose fights over it. And that's really I'd say always focus on comms and listening to your shot caller.
So I guess as a quick follow up to that, how would you describe your team's comms then? Since obviously I 100% agree. There's lots of ways to do comms, and each team has to find what works for them. So the question is, what is your team's comms kind of
Sorry,
generally?
yeah, uh, yeah. So our comms are kind of we've kind of talked about it a lot. Oh, shoot. Um, where Hayes is the primary draft shot caller, so he gets the last call in. So he gets the last call on anything that we do,
Mhm.
but anyone can kind of suggest something or say something, but it's always everyone's responsibility to always call out big cooldowns, always call out rotations, always call out it, like if they're in trouble or what they need. Um, but try and like, I'd say the main thing is don't argue,
Yep.
because anytime that like you can't, it's so important to learn how much split seconds matter in this game. And if you, even if your shot caller calls something definitively and someone takes the time to argue it, those 3 seconds that you lose is just it. You can't get it back.
Yeah, absolutely. Uh, Time is critical in Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah.
So thank you so